Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. My name is Misty, and today I am bringing you another episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge. Today we are starting out with our family here in Oasis Springs, and as you can see, we are with the Matsumoto family, and they are just getting ready to send their husband and son off to war. So as you can see, he is just going to go ahead and let his wife know that he has been drafted off to the war. He is just going to tell her his goodbyes and let her know that he is definitely going to be missing her. His name is extremely hard to pronounce, so we're just going to go ahead and call him Kaz for short. But Kaz is just letting Helen know here that he is desperately going to be missing her while he's away, and that obviously he is super in love with her and he hates that he has to go, but unfortunately it is time for him to be headed off to battle. It is his turn. He's crying on her shoulder, letting her know that, you know, this is not at all what he had wanted to do, but unfortunately, it is 1942, as you can see, and it is time for him to go to war. Now, her son, Roland, also has been drafted to go into the war. Now, he, as you would know, is the son from her first marriage, and she had lost that husband in the first war. So now she is taking the chance of losing her son in war, in the Second World War. So she, I'm sure, has really high tensions about this whole thing. She's going to have another husband go into the Second World War, and I'm sure her tensions are running really, really high, wondering if she's going to have these family members that are going to be able to come back home to her, or if she's going to be losing more people to war. That being said, she knows the drill. She has lived this before. Helen knows that they are going to have to go. There is no way around it, and so she's like, yeah, I understand how this works and that you have to go. I know what the draft is all about. I wish you both well, and I love you both so very much, and I hope that you both make it back home to me. So she's just hoping that, you know, they both will watch out for each other while they're out there, and that they're both going to make it home safely. And we hope that for her as well, because obviously we want everyone's families to stay intact, but they are just singing here about this World War holiday, I guess, which is a little bit awkward, but they're just chatting about some politics here, and he's just letting her know that, you know, unfortunately he doesn't necessarily like it that he's having to do this, but it's unfair that he's having to do it. And Roland is complaining about his life a little bit, like, why is it that I have to go and do this? I hate this whole thing. This politics around this war is ridiculous. And she's like, yeah, it really is, but you have been drafted, and unfortunately, son, you have to go. So we are going to head over to our next family and see how they are with this whole news of having to be drafted. But these two are going to go ahead and head off to base camp and get themselves settled in, while the other guys round themselves up and say goodbyes to their families so that they can join them. We're just going to go ahead and console for the other members. You know, we've lost a lot of people in our family, and so he's going to console her, and then we're going to head off to base camp, tell our goodbyes, give our hugs, and head off. Over here in the McQueen household, we have two more that are heading off to war, and that would be Zachariah McQueen and her husband Manuel. Both of them are also heading off to battle. They have both been drafted as well, and both of them have to tell Merida that they are leaving, and she is like, this war is too much. I am sick of it. First the twins went off, and now you guys are heading off, and I don't know how much more of this war I can take. And the boys, you know, her husband and her son are like, we understand that, we really do. But thankfully, you know, the war is almost over, and we aren't going to have to deal with this for much longer. And she's like, well, thank God for that, because honestly, this is getting to be a little bit ridiculous. Like, I'm, you know, glad that we don't have very many more sons to go through, because this is, I really can't, I don't know how much more I can take. So he's just going to give her some flowers, tell her his goodbyes, let her know that he is, obviously prepared for this battle. He is a military man. He has a, long-standing military career. Obviously, he is prepared for this. He's not at all worried about coming home to her. He knows that he's going to make it home safely. He's not worried about it whatsoever. And he's just like, everything's going to be fine, love. I'm going to look out for our son. We're all going to make it home to you safely. No, don't worry your head about it. Everything's going to be, perfectly fine. But we do have to go. We have been drafted and we have to go do our duty. And she's like, you go do what you have to do. So we have made it now here over into the Hensley house. And as you can see, Glenn is just letting Rose know that he also has been drafted. He has to head out, and their son also has to go and fight in this war. So Glenn and Darwin are both heading out into the war as well. And they are going to go and fight for their turn at the war here. They are just telling themselves their goodbyes and having a little bit of a heated kiss. But I am going to go ahead and get Darwin to come out and tell his mother goodbye, because he also is going and fighting in this battle as well. And as we know, Darwin is, quite young and inexperienced of the ways of the world, but he is going with his father, so we're hoping that Glenn will be able to keep him safe out there. And she's like, I'm really sad that you have to go. I hate that, you have to fight in this war. I never wanted to see you have to go and do this, but unfortunately the draft is the draft, and I've lost so many people in this war. I've lost my twin brother in this war. I really hope that I don't lose you too. And he's like, Mom, I don't want you to worry. And she's like, well, I'm definitely going to worry, but you just make it home to me, son. And he's like, I'm going to do the best that I can. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go in and check on, your siblings. And he's just going to go ahead and tell his little brother goodbye here as well. And then both our father and Darwin are going to go ahead and head themselves off to base camp as well. He's like, you take care of Ma while I'm gone, okay? And he's like, I will, brother. Don't worry about it. And he's like, okay, well, I've got to go and be a man now, and you're going to be a man here at the house, and just make sure you take care of Mom, because I think she's going to be sad I'm gone. And he's like, yeah, absolutely, I'm totally going to do that. I'm going to be big like you, and I'll take care of Mom while you're away, and then you'll come back, and everything will be fine. And he's like, yeah, sure, brother. So now we've headed over here to the O'Hara house, and as you can see, we have Joseph here, and he is just telling goodbyes to his mom. And Gemma is once again losing two boys off to war here. She has to tell Joseph and Edmund both goodbye today, because both of them have been drafted to go into the war. And so she's going to tell both of them goodbye. Both of her sons have to go. Booker was hoping that Joseph wasn't going to have to go and fight in the war, but unfortunately his number did get called, and now he's been drafted in. And he's like, I was really hoping that I was going to get bypassed, but unfortunately I have to go, Mom. And she's like, well, I was not under the impression that you were going to get skipped by any means, because, you are young and healthy, and of course they were going to call you into battle, son. I honestly didn't expect anything less. The fact of the matter is I am a little surprised that they called up Edmund, because he's significantly younger than you, and it really sucks that both of you guys have to go at the same time. I was hoping that Edmund was going to get, passed over for this, but now I have to lose two boys at the same time, and it's really, really saddening for me. So she's just going to hug both of her boys and wish them well. She's going to let them know that she hopes that they both make it home to her. She's already, as we know, lost a husband to this war, and she is, every single time the war calls on somebody that she loves, very, very nervous about that prospect that they aren't going to make it back home to her. Booker thankfully did make it home, so we are hoping that these two will make it back home to us as well, but unfortunately we won't know that until the time comes where we see how they do. But hopefully both of our boys will make it back home to us and we won't lose another member of the O'Hara family. But we are just going to have to see. It does look like they are gaining sentiments left and right, which we love. But these guys are going to go ahead and head out to base camp, and we will check in with all of the guys there at the base camp and see how they're all faring now that we know it is time for them to go ahead and see how they're doing now that they're all drafted into the war, and how their tensions are running, because I'm pretty sure they're all pretty nervous about the fact that they've been called up to base camp and they're waiting for their turn at the battlefield. So they're just going to hug their mom and head off to base camp to be with the other gentlemen, because they're the last ones to show up at the base camp. We have arrived here at the base camp, and as you can see, Manuel is crying over a loss in the family. He is distraught over the fact that he's had a loss in the family. Everyone has had so many losses from this war, but on top of that, they are tense from having to ship out in 23 hours time. They know that their turn for this battle is really, really soon, and they're all nervous. They're stressed out. They are to the point where they don't know what's going to become of their future. We have been down this road several times before. They have lost family member after family member, cousins, uncles, brothers, fathers, you name it, they've lost it. And friends, they've lost members that they love, they care about, and they know that their time is limited. They are unsure if they are going to be the person that is going to make it or not make it, if they are going to make it home to their families and their loved ones, or if they're going to be the person that's knocked down. And they are rightfully so extremely nervous about this. So the tensions are running high. We have some of the guys that are out here that are trying to play guitar and loosen up. We have some out here that are cooking. We have some that are writing in their journal and or doing some homework. We have some that are just moping around and crying because they don't know what else to do with their time. I am going to get them to do a little bit of card playing and things like that, and just things to kind of distract their mind, some working out, anything that I can get them to do to distract them from the fact that they have obviously a looming war over their head. They obviously are needing to bond together as much as they can. This is the largest group that we have had at one time, and so the reason for that is this is the last year that they will be going to war. Technically, the war lasted until 1945. It is only 1942, but in hopes of trying to go ahead and end this and it not drag out for forever, I went ahead and just put one big group in, and we're going to call this the end of the war for the series and wrap it up. And we're going to then have ourselves in the next episode a memorial service for our Sims, and that way we don't have, you know, just war drag on forever and ever and ever. But so this is the last episode that we will be having our war series, and so this is our largest group, and so I don't know how many we're gonna lose in this tour, so to speak. So they are rightfully so really nervous, and to be completely honest, I'm quite nervous because typically we lose quite a few Sims when it is a lower number, and with us having this large of a number, there's no telling how many we're going to lose. So they are just trying to get themselves a meal here together. They are conversing with one another. We do have, you know, quite a few of our Sims. Obviously, they are all related, so they know each other in one form or, you know, one way or another. Some are closer to some than the others. Some are just starting to get to know one another because they haven't really had time to really get to know one another because they haven't visited with each other very often. So we are just getting our relationships up. We're having a little bit of a card game here, trying to get our spirits up and get our mind off of the war and just really not okay. We have a broken toilet. I'm just gonna get them to fix that so that we can go ahead and have our guys use the washroom here. They are just trying to do things around this base camp to get their spirits up so that they don't have their mind on the fact that they are really facing the unknown. And they seem to be really enjoying this card game. As you can see, we have Glenn and Edmund playing here with who is that? Manuel and Kaz, I believe. And they're all having a really good time. And we have some people that are, you know, working on some repairs and just trying to get some things done around the area. So I am just having everyone go ahead and take care of some of their needs. We have a bunch of people that are needing to bathe and use the washroom and get a little bit of rest. So we are just working on their needs here a little bit, and they're kind of all fighting over the washroom since it just got repaired. So I am just slowly taking turns getting them all into the washroom to use it here, and they are going to go ahead and do that one at a time. And we have them kind of walking in on each other, and so we do have a little bit of embarrassment there where they are kind of walking in on one another and violating some privacy. But unfortunately, we definitely need to get them in there using the washroom, and we need to get some sleep here. We have some really sleepy people here. So I'm just going to, like I said, help get their needs up here and get them whatever it is that they need going on here. Hopefully everyone's needs will be able to be met here pretty quickly. Okay, Manuel has caught himself on fire. Well, that's great. Oh no, that's Glenn. Okay, that's lovely. No, that was Manuel that caught on fire. Glenn's going to the bathroom. Okay, poor Manuel is having a really rough time. He's really, really sad from the loss of a family member, and now he's caught himself on fire. And Zachariah is saying, I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up, and my friends seem to have it figured out. Well, you know what? You can just keep on trying. These things sometimes take time, Zachariah. Not everybody has everything all figured out. They really don't. So I am going to go ahead and get Manuel doing a little bit of laundry. I think that we need to get his mind on some things other than his sadness, and so hopefully we can get him busy doing things, and maybe he can not be so sad if we can just get him kind of doing some activities where he is not just sitting around pondering life. Maybe his brain will shut off for a little bit. We're just going to get him to do a little bit of laundry here, and then we'll have him go to the washroom. Everyone else is kind of getting a little bit of rest. Zachariah, it looks like, has a little bit of needs that need to be taken care of. He is feeling a little bit tense, so I will just have to check on him and see what's up with him. Everything is breaking in this base camp. The poor guys are just really having a rough go of it, unfortunately, because they're constantly having to fix the things around here that is breaking. Okay, so the tension is just from them shipping out. Alright, but we do have the guys. They're sitting around the campfire. They are roasting some marshmallows. We love that for them. They are really trying to do the things that they can to calm down and to not be tense, which I love. I love that they are trying to socialize and do whatever it is that they can do to get their mind off of the fact that they are about to ship off, which is, by the way, getting closer and closer, and they know that. They can sense that it is just around the corner, looming over them, this dark cloud of the unknown. And the more they think about it, the closer it gets, the more panicked they feel. So they're doing everything they can. They are roasting marshmallows, having conversations, telling jokes with each other, trying to do whatever it is that they can to just loosen that. Look at him tell stories about spiders, and like he's just like trying to tell all these outrageous stories and doing whatever he can to make everyone happy and have a good time and to keep their mind off of the stress that they're feeling. And I love that. I truly, truly love that. Because to be completely honest, it's things like that that is going to keep them going right now, because if they are constantly feeling stressed and tense, I think that it's going to make them do worse on the battlefield. So if they have a little bit of spirit uplifting, I think they'll do better. So the fact that they're doing these things around the fire and telling each other stories and trying to uplift each other's spirits. I honestly think that that is better for them. I think that it is something that is going to get their morale up and is going to keep them in a place where they would do better on the battlefield. They're going to have a better outcome, a more positive outcome. They are all just trying to take care of their needs now. I'm going to have Manuel come over here and just make a little bit of a meal so that they actually have something to eat other than marshmallows. And so we'll get some supper cooking on the grill here so that he can actually feed the group. And then once everyone has eaten something for supper, then if they are tired, we'll go ahead and let them go ahead and get themselves into bed for the evening. Feeling forlorn. No one likes me. No one will ever like me. Yeah, everyone likes you. You need to calm down. Everyone likes you. Look around. All right, so I am just going to have him go ahead and call everyone to a meal. And then, as you can see, they're back at the fire again. So that's perfect news. So yeah, we will go ahead and let him get some rest. It looks like he needs some rest. So the people that are needing to get some rest are getting rest, and the people that are not tired are just kind of taking care of themselves, either grabbing themselves a plate of food, cleaning up after themselves, roasting marshmallows, whatever it is that they need to do to make themselves happy. I'm pretty much just letting them take care of what it is that they want to do. Yeah, they're just pretty much kind of bonding over each other and the fire. And speaking of fire, we have now had a fire start. Great. So it does look like Darwin and Edmund are putting the fire out. Everyone else is freaking out and escaping the lot, which we love. Okay. Darwin and Edmund are the two saviors of the day, which we freaking love. Thank you guys so much for putting the fire out. Everyone else has ran off and panicked, and so that's lovely. So we love that for us, that the two youngest guys here were the ones that put the fire out and saved the day, and everyone else ran out to safety. So beautiful. Okay. Now that everyone is tense because of not only the fire but also the war, let's go ahead and try to get everyone calmed down. If anyone is tired, we'll get them into bed. It is about 6:30 p.m. and everyone will be shipping out in the morning. So I am just going to try to get everyone some rest so that they are rested up, because everyone does ship off to war in the morning, and so they will need to get a good night's sleep. So everyone head off to bed, and I will see you guys in the morning. And anyone that doesn't need rest, I'm just going to let them kind of take care of themselves. And as you can see, Glenn is talking to Manuel here, and they're talking about this war and the boys and how the younger ones, they're worried about, you know, are they going to make it? Like, honestly, they just caught the bloody base camp on fire. And he's like, yeah, and we ran from it. And he's like, yeah, because it's a fire. And he's like, you think the fire's the worst thing we have to be worried about right now? I'm going for a workout. So Glenn's getting a workout in. Manuel is going to cry it out again, I believe. Oh, poor Manuel. I feel so bad for him. Honestly, I do. Zachariah has decided that he likes the guitar skill. He's acquired the guitar skill anyway. And he is just going to get himself a bite to eat. And he's feeling really tense from them shipping out soon. Everyone is starting to really feel the tension, guys. It is getting really, really soon for them to be shipping out. I'm just going to get everyone sleeping here, and then we will ship out in the morning. Good morning, and it is the day of the war. Everyone is seriously tense. We have very little time until it is time for us to ship out. I am just going to go ahead and get everyone ready as far as their needs go. We don't have very much time left at all. They're just going ahead and grabbing a little bit of food. They are cleaning up what they can before it is time to ship out, and going to the washroom, getting their showers, getting themselves all squared away before it is time for them to head out. Everyone is at their wits' end with nervousness and anxiety. They don't know how to act. Zachariah is sitting here talking to Manuel. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to act like? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, son, you need to breathe and you need to calm down. They'll tell you where to go. They'll tell you what to do.
Run.
All you have to do is put on your uniform and show up. And he's like, this is too much anxiety. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, I just told you what to do, son. Put on your uniform and show up. And he's like, yes, sir, sir. Yes, sir. So these guys are realizing that it is time, and they are about to ship off to war in, like, literally, I think it's like 10 minutes time. And they are trying to, once again, sit by the fire, but even the fire is not helping. The marshmallows aren't working out. They are just a little bit too stressed, and it is now time for them to go off and fight in this war. Everyone is headed off, and that's it. It is time for this war to begin. Everyone is headed off to war now. Darwin is the last one to go. He's running to join his brothers in battle. As you can see, he's headed off now to war. And they are all out on the battlefield fighting for their lives out in this last tour of our war of 1942, where we're going to be finding out who is going to make it and who is not going to make it. And our guys will soon be making it back to us, where we're going to be finding out who is the survivors and who does not make it back home to us. And back from the war is Manuel. He's returned. He's happy to be alive. And Kaz. Kaz and Manuel are back from the war. They are both changed men, but they are happy to be alive. So we have two people back from the war. As you can see, they are our first two soldiers back from the war. We are still waiting on our other soldiers to come back from the war. So we're just going to wait a little bit longer and see who comes next. So it looks like Edmund is our next soldier to come back, and it looks like, nope, I'm sorry, Joseph is back, and Edmund is back, but he has fallen, guys. We have lost Edmund. And Darwin is back, and we have lost Darwin. Okay, we've lost Darwin, we have lost Edmund.
Kapuna Neves. Waxwin. Nina.
So Edmund O'Hara has died in the war. Darwin Hensley has died in the war. Zachariah has returned and is happy to be alive but changed. Roland has returned and is happy to be alive but is changed. And Joseph has returned and is happy to be alive but is changed. So the only two that we have lost in this tour is Edmund and Darwin, which is really, really sad, but also pretty ironic if you think about it. Those two were our heroes of the fire incident and our two that died in the war. So that's really tragic news. Alright, so we have lost our two casualties of the war here. We are just going to go ahead and get some photos here of our men who are distraught over the loss of their brothers at war and their family members, because we know that these are their family members. These gentlemen are all family, and this would be really difficult for them. Darwin is Glenn's son, and he just lost a son. Joseph just lost his little brother. So we have definitely a lot of sadness in this loss. I mean, this is not an easy thing to see or to bear witness to have to go home and tell your wife that your son didn't make it home, to go home and tell your mother that your little brother didn't make it home. And these boys are gonna have, and this man is gonna have to do that. So we have lost Edmund and we have lost Darwin. As soon as the Grimm is done with his business here, we will go ahead and engrave the epitaphs. But these gentlemen are absolutely distraught over the loss of these family members, and they are, you know, probably really upset with the fact that, you know, they've lost them, but also wondering, you know, why me? Especially, you know, Glenn. I'm sure Glenn is probably wondering why did I survive and Darwin didn't? You know, I'm sure he has a little bit of survivor's guilt. He has to go home and tell his wife that, you know, our son did not make it. And I'm sure that has got to be one of the hardest things he's going to have to do. Okay. Darwin. And we are going to go ahead and engrave Edmund's epitaph, and we're just going to say here, Edmund O'Hara, dearest son, you will be missed. Died in World War II in 1942. And then we have Darwin Hensley, dearest son, you will be missed. Died in World War II in 1942. And I'm just going to go ahead and let them pick up their tombstones and put them in their inventory. That way they can take them home to their families. And we'll go ahead and go home to where we belong. And as you can see, we are here at the O'Hara residence. And we are just letting Joseph tell his mother that, of course, yes, he's so glad that he's made it home, but unfortunately he has really bad news because his brother did not make it home. He's having to let her know that he was really, really brave while he was out there, but unfortunately it was just nothing like he has ever seen before. And, you know, Booker tried to tell him, but it was worse than he even thought, and he can't even explain it. But just know that, you know, obviously Edmund is in a better place now, and he's going to give her the tombstone so that she can have it with Liam's, so that we can put it in the memorial when it's time for us to go to the memorial cemetery and put them at their final resting place. And she is going to obviously go and cry it out in her bed, and she is distraught over the fact that she has once again lost another family member to this war. This time she has lost her youngest son, and she is just distraught over this news, distraught over the fact that she has lost a child. And it does say here, it's hard to see those closest us pass away. Gemma can find some solace by mourning at a tombstone or urn from losing a child. And she is really, really distraught. But guys, I am going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.